has split the church. The word perfection. Perfection. When an Adventist says perfection, what do they usually mean? Don't try to give me straight theology. What do they mean?
Sinlessness.
Sinlessness. Is that what you said? Sinlessness. Yeah, that's sinlessness. I'm going to tell you right now. It's not the Bible definition of perfection. I'll come to the Bible definition of perfection, but still we'll say, where did the Adventists get theirs? Well, try Greek philosophy. Greek philosophy, the philosopher Plato said that the perfect world is a world in which nothing changes. If you had a Christian that did not need to change, what would they have to be? Sinless. This was picked up by the early Roman Catholic Church and became the foundation for the monastic system. The idea was to get people as far away from sin as possible so they would be sinless. Poor old Simon Stylites sat 40 years on top of a pole up there, 50 feet off the ground. They send his food up to him once in a while. This is history. Well, he tried getting buried up to his neck in sand. I guess he was still too close to sin. He even had trouble up there. So he would do 1,100 or 1,200 times touching his head to his toes to keep himself occupied. Because even if you get that far away, you still got a brain, right? Anyway, the Protestants didn't, the Reformation didn't straighten that out. It would be John Wesley in the 18th century who would recapture the biblical concept of perfection. The biblical word for perfection is the Greek word teleos. And it just basically means to become mature. Become mature like what? Become mature like God. And so the only two times that Jesus uses it in Matthew 5, be therefore perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect, is the context is loving your enemy. The only other place he uses it in Matthew 19, the rich young ruler says, if you really want to be perfect, give yourself up, go out and sell everything you got, and love your neighbor. There is a biblical concept of sinlessness, but it's totally different. It's not sin as an act, it's sin as an attitude towards God. 1 John 3:9, no Christian can sin. It is impossible. 1 John 1:8, if you say you're not a sinner, if you haven't sinned, you're a liar. Verse 10, you make God a liar. So get it out, confess it. Different. We'll come back to this, the concept of sin, the last day of the class. Anyway, perfection, because we have misunderstood what perfection is, and character perfection is becoming like the character of God. What's God? God is love. But we've got it tied down to what you eat for breakfast. Perfection is if you stay away from cheese. Okay? It's a series of actions. It's a medieval Roman Catholic monastic definition. And the funny thing is that those Adventists who dislike the Catholics the most are the most like them, including the Virgin Mary. Or what I call the vegetarian Virgin Mary.
Well, some Catholics make good Adventists.
Yeah! Yeah! Make sometimes some very good legalistic ones, though.
That was implied.
Yeah. So, this particular misunderstanding of our history, by the way, Ellen White was a Wesleyan. She came out of the Methodist Episcopal Church. And she used the concepts like Wesley uses the concepts. So what's happened is we read the Bible, be therefore perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. We dump on top of that, not biblical definitions, but medieval definitions, and then we create a theological monstrosity. Now, I understand this. I used to be perfect. Hell to live with, but... Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so that's just one illustration. If you don't know your roots, you're liable to more easily fall into a pit of theological